Bombs dropped on Kobe, Japan, 1945. Douglas MacArthur signs formal surrender of Japan, 1945. Again in 1945, the before and after of Hiroshima after the atomic bomb. The Hungarian Revolution of 1956. Prohibition. All the alcohol barrels to be burned in 1924. Soviet soldiers take a break to watch an acrobatic show on the march towards Berlin, 1945. Amelia Earhart with her aeroplane. 5 years after Charles Lindbergh's transatlantic flight, Amelia Earhart became the second person to make the voyage. She was also the first woman to attempt the journey, flying from Newfoundland, Canada to Londonderry, Northern Ireland in 1937. Just 5 years after her historic journey, the intrepid aviator disappeared over the Pacific Ocean. While attempting to fly around the world, her plane was never found. The Empire State Building, which towers 1,200 feet over Manhattan, was constructed between 1930 and 1931. Over the course of 7 million man-hours, during construction, the skeleton had a vertical frame composed of 210 steel columns, which could only be erected 30 stories at a time. Crowds would gather to watch and unsecured workers move freely about the cranes and beams. Hitler in the crowd. From 1933 till 1938, the Nazi Party held propaganda events every year in Bavaria, known collectively as Nuremberg rallies. These were marked by torchlight processions and impassioned speeches from Nazi leaders, including Adolf Hitler, who had recently become the German Chancellor. The British Dynamite of Jenin. Between 1936 and 1939, British armed forces attempted to suppress an Arab revolt in Palestine. On August 28, 1938, the West Bank city of Jenin was attacked with explosives, leaving a quarter of the city in ruins. A gas drill at a London hospital. Amid fears of German attacks during World War II, the British government supplied every citizen with a gas mask. Special masks were issued for infants, featuring steel helmets and rubber-coated canvas wraps to keep gas from penetrating. This image from the Ministry of Information shows nurses testing the protective devices at a London hospital. Internment of Japanese Americans. 2 months after the attack on Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt signed an Executive Order 9066, which allowed the US military to create areas from which any or all persons may be excluded. The move promoted the internment of more than 127,000 Japanese American citizens. Liberation of Paris. On August 25, 1944, the French 2nd Armored Division and the US 4th Infantry Division liberated Paris from the Nazi rule, after 4 years of German occupation. Just before the city was liberated, Adolf Hitler ordered General Dietrich von Schütz to destroy the city's landmarks and burn the city down. The German commander refused to carry out the order. Queen Elizabeth II is crowned. On June 2, 1953, Princess Elizabeth was crowned Queen Elizabeth II in a publicly televised ceremony in Westminster Abbey. The monarch succeeded her father, King George V, who died at age 56. The Queen is depicted in this photo from the Daily Herald archive, waving at crowds shortly after her coronation. Hungarian Revolution. In October 1956, Hungarian rebels launched a revolt against Soviet forces. The rebels won the first battle, declaring former Premier Imre Nagy head of state, and requesting intervention from the United Nations. The next month, however, Soviet aggressors stormed back in. The Berlin Walls erected. In this image taken in Berlin, Germany on August 14, 1961, soldiers of the East Germany National People's Army erect barbed wire fences to close off a street in preparation for the construction of the Berlin Wall. The first concrete emplacements were erected on August 17th and would remain in place until 1989. This photo was taken 3 days after the Normandy beachhead was established, on June 9, 1944, and shows a colossal scale of the operation to transport men and material for the liberation of Europe. The landing ships are putting cargo ashore of Omaha Beach, taking advantage of the low tide. In July of 1943, Allied forces, troops, guns and transport are rushed ashore, ready for action, at the opening of the Allied invasion of the Italian island of Sicily.